died in the same city, within days of each other. After losing a war, they started together. History paints them as lovers, traitors, schemers, and fools. But were Cleopatra and Mark Antony really in love? Or was it just a calculated alliance between two ambitious people trying to survive? In this episode of Historical Reputations Earned or Not, we examine the story behind the scandal and ask whether love had anything to do with the most infamous couple in Roman history. Much of what we know about Cleopatra and Mark Antony comes from Plutarch, a Greek historian writing over a century after their deaths. To his credit, Plutarch claimed to base some of his account on Cleopatra's personal physician, a man named Olympus. That means some details, especially around Cleopatra's final days, may actually come from someone who was there. But let's not forget, Plutarch was also shaped by Roman and Greek views of power, gender, and morality. He had no problem portraying Cleopatra as dramatic, manipulative, or dangerously charming. So, we get glimpses of sincerity, filtered through the lens of a man who probably thought ambitious women couldn't possibly love anyone. Cleopatra and Antony met when she sailed to meet him in Tarsus. She came dressed as Aphrodite on a golden barge, not subtle. Their relationship began very clearly as mutual advantage. Antony needed Cleopatra's money and grain to fund his military campaigns. Cleopatra needed Antony's Roman power to help secure her throne and her children's future. But here's where it gets interesting, because they didn't let go. They weren't just allies. They spent years together. Antony lived with her in Alexandria. He fathered 3 children with her. They celebrated festivals, played drinking games, and traveled the Nile. He married someone else for politics, but still went back to Cleopatra. Was that love? Maybe not the pure, innocent kind, but it wasn't just strategy either. Rome didn't see a power couple, it saw a crisis. Octavian, Caesar's heir, used their relationship as a weapon. He portrayed Antony as a weak man, controlled by a foreign queen. He called Cleopatra a sorceress, a temptress, a threat to Rome itself. The couple's political downfall came fast. Octavian defeated them at the Battle of Actium. Antony's army deserted him. Cleopatra retreated to protect Egypt and her children. This is where their story becomes tragic. Antony, falsely told that Cleopatra had died, fell on his sword. When she found him, still barely alive, she had him carried to her tomb and cradled him as he died. Olympus, the physician, was likely there. Plutarch writes that Cleopatra refused to eat, tore her clothes, and cried uncontrollably. Even if we take that with a grain of historical salt, it feels like grief. Here's where things get complicated again. Cleopatra surrendered to Octavian. Some say she tried to charm him, others say she faked loyalty to buy time. And when she realized Octavian planned to parade her through Rome, she took her own life. Did she betray Antony by living a few days longer? By negotiating? Maybe. But maybe she was doing what every mother would, trying to save her children. That doesn't erase her love. It just adds one final human layer. You can love someone and still put your kids first. So, did Cleopatra and Mark Antony really love each other? They were both ambitious, ruthless, calculating. But they returned to each other over and over again. They built a life together, not just a war strategy. And in the end, they died for each other. Maybe not in some romantic fantasy, but in the messy, desperate way that real people do. So yes, if love means choosing someone again and again, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's dangerous, then their love was real, flawed, tangled, tragic, but real. What do you think? Were Cleopatra and Mark Antony true lovers, or just two opportunists caught in the same storm? Leave a comment below, hit subscribe, and join us next time on Historical Reputations, Earned or Not.